What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. And I'm here with my beautiful, sexy wife. Say hi, boo.
Hi everyone, this is Akti and I'm from Turkey, and today we are reviewing One Battle After Another.
Yes, this is the new Paul Thomas Anderson film, written and directed by him. Paul Thomas Anderson is a famous director known for making films like Boogie Nights, great film, Magnolia. Also, there was a film that you watched. I forgot the name.
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread, right? So, he pops up every few years with a new film. This is his latest one, starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Bob Ferguson, Tiana Taylor as Perfidia Beverly Hills, Jungle Pussy, something I thought I would never see in mainstream cinema. I've heard of Jungle Pussy before. Yeah, she's like a rapper. And we also have Sean Penn as Colonel Lockjaw. So, yeah, this was an interesting movie. We watched it last night. I've been waiting to watch it for a few weeks since people started talking about it online. And I got a lot to say about this film. What did you think about it?
I have to say I didn't watch a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies, and I watched one, which was Phantom Thread, and I don't remember that one, honestly. I kind of remember it being a bit boring. Maybe I was not in the mood. But I wasn't really excited to watch this. I felt like, it's just kind of like another box office, like big name movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like maybe it's going to be like too dragged out. But honestly, like while I was watching, I was having fun. Just because I think I was laughing at it sometimes, but sometimes it was frustrating. Overall, it didn't feel like it was 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. And I felt like overall, like, just the general cinematography was really nicely shot.
Yeah.
But the themes and things which we will talk about later on, it was like a bit missing from the movie.
Yeah, like the way we do our reviews here, we mostly tackle themes and topics that the film covers and break those down in depth. And, when it comes to the themes, this film is infuriating. I am pissed off in so many ways thinking about the very first half of the film, and I'll say mostly Tiana Taylor's character as Perfidia Beverly Hills and the lack of depth for her character. You know what I'm saying? So the first half of this movie is something. If you can stomach it, if you're, Black, radical, or just political in any way on the left, then you're going to be... I can't think of any other film that infuriates hardcore leftists and just the general conservative. Because, like, last night we were watching the reviews, and basically, like, Black women online are, divided on this film, though I would say a lot of them probably really dislike at least the first half, and the conservatives hate this film because apparently the bad guys in here are actually the misunderstood good guys,
Yeah, I think the most frustrating part is this is a movie done for a left audience, for the leftist audience, but it's annoying for the left to see revolutionaries like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, like when I was watching the first half, I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of like a troll movie. Like, what is this? And then the second half gets better, and like it is an enjoyable watch if you don't go deeper into the meanings. Because
this film is so tied to a singular creative, Paul Thomas Anderson, it sort of comes across like the film is more revealing of his own thoughts and projections of different ideas, whether those be interracial relationships, radical politics, the current state of our country, what it means to be a white man in America. It comes across like he's really projecting some things that are within his own mind. I know this movie was also based on a book called Vineland, and you looked it up and you said it was more like a sci-fi type of story based in the 70s and a radical left or something like that.
Yeah, that's what Wikipedia says about it.
Yeah. So it seems to me more like, Paul Thomas Anderson is a lib that doesn't understand leftists, first and foremost, and has a shallow reading of like Black women's hopes and dreams of a radical future,
Yeah, it did feel like, it was a bit of a fantasizing of all like this aspect of being a revolutionary, being a black woman revolutionary, and yeah, like that theme was a bit fantasized.
Yeah, and to take it one step further, Paul Thomas Anderson is married to a black woman. I forgot her name. She's this famous comedian who's on SNL. Her mother is the black woman that sang that song, "Loving You is easy 'cause you're beautiful." Minnie Riperton, yeah, Minnie Riperton is her name, and so it kind of makes me like, you know, feel like you've been married to this black woman all your life and you're still really not getting it, bro, or maybe she doesn't get it. I don't know. It's kind of weird, man, for me. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, maybe, just maybe we're missing something that he wanted to show us. I don't know.
maybe
Just trying to look at from the positive,
right?
If you can find it in terms of the themes. So.
Right. By the way, what genre would you put this film in?
I would say action. No, not action. Maybe like a thriller, comedy, drama.
Thriller, comedy, drama. Yeah, I can see that.
Dramedy.
Thriller, dramedy with a lot of comedy to some degree. Yeah, I would say so. I agree with that characterization.
Yeah. Just like Leo's character, I feel like he was meant to be a comedic relief character.
Yeah, a little bit at times, right? But we're supposed to also take him seriously. Yeah. But let's break down this film. You know how we do it, scene by scene. Let's go. So, where the film begins, the timing of this film makes no sense. Like, we don't know what decade, what era this is in. So we see this immigration center where a bunch of people are held behind cages and it looks like they're in dilapidated conditions, right? And we see this group of people outside who are making plans on storming this place. And this is where we're introduced to Perfidia, who is Tiana Taylor's character right here. And she's hyping up this guy named Ghetto Pat, who is Leonardo DiCaprio's character right here. And she's saying, this is the beginning of the revolution. You know what I'm saying? So don't be scared. Don't be pussy, right? And so late at night, all these revolutionaries break into the camp. They knock out the guards and stuff like that. They're starting to break people out and set them free. Perfidia goes to the main guy in charge, Colonel Lockjaw right here that you see on the right, played by Sean Penn. She puts a gun in his face and says, "You died and went to pussy heaven, motherfucker." And he replies, "Sweet thing." And then she tells him, "Get it up." Nah, don't get up, get it up. And we're like, oh, wow. Like, in the first 5 minutes of this film, we're already doing, like, race play, role play, hardcore stuff right here. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, she makes him walk outside with his boner and, like, locks him up in a cage while all the revolutionaries escape. You know what I mean? Ties them up, all that sort of stuff. And outside, these revolutionaries announce their name. They say they're the French 75, and this is the beginning of their revolution. So what did you think of the opening scene right here?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. And obviously, like, Tiana Taylor, she's a perfect-looking woman. Like, her body, her everything is great. And I knew that was coming just because of that, because she's kind of like praised for that. But I think her acting is also really good, and we've seen her in other movies as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was just confused. Like, I was very confused in the first 20 minutes of this movie. Like, at first I was thinking, are they the government or are they like anti-government? First the group gathered. I didn't really understand because I couldn't understand the timeline, like you said.
We went into this film not knowing anything about it.
Yeah, I did not know anything. And then when like that scene happened with him and she was like, "Get it up," I didn't understand like if she wanted to be with him or if she was like, using her power against him. But it felt like he was enjoying himself. So it was like all kinds of emotions that I was feeling at this point. So I was like, okay, what is her goal?
Now, this the dialogue in this film feels very reminiscent of like the 70s. And at this scene right here, like the way Tiana Taylor's character is like dressed in like overly characteristic, like military garb, holding the gun, saying, "You died and went to pussy heaven, jive turkey." And he replies, "Sweet thing." It just feels very 70s, no? Like something from Coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It's like Pam Grier, like action movie type of thing, like a revolutionary black girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. With like, we loved the movie Coffee because it had like this solid background, and that's something we didn't see in this movie.
The thing about what made Coffee work, and a lot of other 70s exploitation films work, like Blackula or Coffee or other stuff that we've seen that we even haven't reviewed, right? It's like they give a solid reason for the revolutionary action that the characters are doing, right? Like in Coffee, she wants to get rid of the drug dealers. Blackula wants to reunite with his love, you know what I mean? In this one, why are they breaking into an immigration center? Now, us leftists, we don't want, borders to be the determining factor why somebody lives or dies. But there's also this complexity because a lot of Black Americans are like, immigration does maybe kind of affect us. A lot of Latinos are kind of racist. Like, why should we care about the border? So I felt like at this point they should have explained why they're breaking into an immigration center, other than that being like obviously the hot button issue of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like there were some like ideas thrown, and like you will see also as we move on with the first 20 minutes, like there's no borders, free immigrants, like allow abortion for women. Like all these ideas are tossed at you, and you hear the names, but there's no like ideology that combines them. Yeah, really. Like, is it like, I don't know, feminist anarchy, or is it like Black woman liberation? Like, what is it?
Are they Marxist? Are they, what is it?
I do think like one person can or is able to like stand up for different things, right? It could be multiple things, but there should be like one uniting ideology, I feel like, and that's never explained.
Right. And I have a theory that possibly Perfidia and Lockjaw knew each other or had some type of communication before. Because either, number one, Lockjaw knew Perfidia was coming and Perfidia told him she was coming, or two, Lockjaw just has balls of steel and Perfidia talks crazy. Like, because who's going to wake up with Tiana Taylor holding the gun to your motherfucking face and all you say is, "Sweet thing." Like, what is that? Like, to me, that's just, it does not make sense logically, unless those two things are true.
I think those two things are true. Like, Tiana Taylor talks crazy, and also Lockjaw is like a crazy white supremacist that doesn't have fear. Okay. So yeah, I think those things are true, because I feel like if they knew each other before, the film would have let us know. Okay. Or should have let us know.
Well, there's a lot of things the film doesn't let us know. Like, we never find out why the title is the French 75 for this American revolutionary group. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Who really knows? Right? And just one more thing I got to say about this scene at the very beginning. One of the most prominent fetishes among white men is being dominated by women, you know what I'm saying? And particularly Black women too. Like, yeah, there's a lot of doms out there who are findoms of men and shit like that, or straight up like, whipping on guys for money and shit. So that's also what this made me think of.
I think also there's, in addition to that, like intersecting, there is also the power play of like, the capitalist male and then an anarchist female, and that fantasy of like capitalist males, basically, like that are in high positions.
Well, moving forward in the film, sex plays a lot in this story, because after they do that heist, we see that Perfidia and Ghetto Pat, they start making out in the back of the car when everybody's hyped up off of that revolutionary act they just did. And she says, "You like black girls? You don't like black girls. You like black girls." And then they start kissing. And, oh, God, it was, once again, I had to hold on to myself. I didn't let my wife know that I was, like, literally inside, like, going crazy, because I'm not against interracial relationships where it's white men and black women. But does that logically make sense? We just blew up the fucking government immigration center. And how now are you asking, hey, are you anti-racist enough to have an interracial relationship with me? Like, nobody would say that. Like in the, radical left. You know what I mean? At this point,
Especially a woman like her.
right. But it's not even, it's about the fact that we are all on the same page. If you're down enough to blow up a government immigration center, your anti-racism is probably uh, more than solidified. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like the first moment that we're introduced to her, she's like this, bossy revolutionary holding
Mm-hmm.
up guns against men.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she gets in the car and says like, "Do you like black girls?" It feels like a bit of, a power shift there. Like why?
Yeah, like you instantly became submissive and
Yeah.
wanting to be desired and having to check about your desirability from a white man.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like a woman like her, because it just contradicted the scene that we
Mm-hmm.
saw her like as a powerful woman.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just a weird conversation. Like,
Yeah.
why is that happening?
That's insane. That's like asking somebody in MAGA, "Hey, are you dumb?" Of course you're dumb. But no, like, hey, a Muslim friend, you know what I mean? You're in Turkey, hanging out with a bunch of AKP people, and you're gonna say, "Hey, man, do you like Islam?
Yeah.
Are you into like Quran and stuff? You know what I mean? Like, what is that?"
Yeah. But do you think this was like the first time they kissed, or do you think they were hooking up previously?
I think this might be the first time.
Yeah.
I think this might be the first time.
What I was
That's the
feeling
beginning.
too.
But it's still a crazy question to ask.
It is.
So anyway, we find out Ghetto Pat is an explosives expert. That's his contribution. And he's like explaining, how to make bombs to her. And she gets all hot and horny. And then she climbs on top of him. And, we get to see Tiana Taylor put it in an arch, which was cool. And, then we see Tiana Taylor do her phone business, and she's like calling from pay phones, warning people about bombings that will happen, and she's fighting, for abortion rights, like Acti mentioned before, and also other things that she mentions, that motivate the actions of the French 75. And while they're setting off bombs on like radio towers and stuff like that, she gets hot and horny and asks, Ghetto Pat, "Hey man, let's have sex right here. Let's fuck while the bomb goes off." And he's like, "No, Perfidia, no, we can't." And she's like, "No, you gonna give me that cock." And I'm like, oh, what is happening? Why are they making her a Jezebel? Why are they making her a Jezebel? What did you think about any of those scenes?
Yeah, this part was like a montage, right? We saw like buildings blowing up and heists, and then them making out and things like that. And I feel like that sort of montage, I can understand why like maybe she is like sexually active, because you're constantly feeling this adrenaline and like she's young and everything. So I understand that she might be wanting to fuck everywhere and anywhere. But I wish they like actually made her talk about it, or like actually we got to know like why she was feeling that way, and yeah, like obviously she's attracted to like smart guys because Leo was like doing the bombs and he's a revolutionary and things like that, but it just felt like so fast,
Yeah.
and it just showed like bombs and fucking and without any context to it.
Right. Like the fact that most of Perfidia's lines are "let's have sex, get it up," you know what I mean? It comes across like they're just trying to make her the over-sexualized black woman. And that's like a long stereotype we've had, since the beginning of this fucked up world that we've inherited, you know what I mean? And I really was not feeling that, like maybe you could argue Perfidia is, she's dedicated to the cause, but maybe she also has like a sex addiction, you know what I mean? That could have been explored, but the way it's done, it's more like she is a very flat character in regards to that. She's about blowing shit up and getting her back blown out. That's it.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Yeah, it kind of felt disrespectful in general, like both for black revolutionary women and just in general, like revolutionary woman, because I feel like it's kind of normal for revolutionary women, especially on the left, to be like more sexually liberated because they're aware of like their rights as women and they're aware of like how patriarchy works, and they are able to like navigate through that with their sexuality.
Right.
So I get that, but I just felt like, like you said, it was used like in a wrong way to make it seem like that was all she was about.
Yeah, I think, her character plays into two prominent stereotypes: the strong black woman and also a dangerous black woman, and also the sexual stereotypes as well. And this year, we read Asada's book, and I also read Angela Davis's book, and I felt like if we're going to build the character of Perfidia, let's build them around Asada, Angela Davis, Elaine Brown, prominent black women radicals who, weren't just talking about sex and dick all throughout their books. You know what I mean? Like, let's really try to base this on reality instead of, I believe, a caricature of what a black woman is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's definitely like reading Asada's book, and that's the only one I read. It made me see this movie in a different light. Yeah. Definitely. Like, that really helped me actually know what a real revolutionary life is like for a black woman. And then seeing this, it pissed me off. Like,
and the fact this movie came out the same month Asada died, it's like, maybe this took her out. Maybe she got an early copy and she said, oh, Lord. She just passed away in Cuba. Damn. Anyway, moving forward, right? Colonel Lockjaw is like stalking the French 75, by the way, who are doing their crimes in the most brazen fashion. No masks, no any type of, gloves on the weapons, nothing like that. They just outside with it, and as, the French 75 is like, handcuffing police and robbing banks. Colonel Lockjaw is in like a black Escalade 3 blocks down with binoculars saying like, oh, look at her body. It's so black and curvaceous. It's so big. It's like, what is happening? Like, this was giving really weird vibes at the very beginning. We're only like 20 minutes in, and that's all we're getting.
Yeah, definitely. Like, one question I always had in my mind from the beginning was like, how are they getting away with this? Yeah. Because it doesn't feel realistic. Like, what year is it that they're like out here, like all these women, without masks or nothing, and just like doing this basically. Right. And then they don't get caught, especially when they have like a colonel watching them, like,
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm watching films and like criminal activity going unpunished happens, I always think to myself, maybe this is an alternate universe where like, cameras aren't everywhere. A different climate has happened. You know what I mean? Like 9/11 is not around. 9/11 never occurred. So we don't have the surveillance state and monitoring of everything. I don't know. But yeah, like you said, some of this shit makes no sense. Like being able to walk around bareface everywhere. You know what I mean? Leaving DNA traces all over your crimes just doesn't make sense.
Like the amount of hiding revolutionary left does. Yeah. I feel like, especially like, if it's a movement or anything like that in the history of like America, it was all underground. Like, and this is too, but this is just not really.
Yeah, this is just way too bold with it. Yeah. But we also see that some of the other members of the French 75 are also involved in interracial relationships. And here we have Wood Harrison, I believe his name is, and he was famous for playing on The Wire, right? And the only line he really has in the film is when he kisses this average-looking white woman and calls her regular working white girl. Like, what? And
go do your thing.
Go do your thing. And tells her to go inside the bank. You know what I mean? And they're about to do a robbery where they rob this bank. But Colonel Lockjaw catches Perfidia right when she's about to set up a bomb or a monitoring device, whatever, in this bank that they're trying to hit. And he tells her, you can blow up whatever you want. I don't give a damn. But I just want my gun and my hat back. So I will see you tonight at my hotel. And it's like, okay, all right, shit is freaky. Maybe she had a plan all along. And she ends up going to the hotel with him, puts a gun in his face, and then we can imagine, I don't know what really happened. Some people say she went down and ate his booty. Some people say she put the gun in his booty. I don't know. It was just really freaky sex.
Yeah.
And we don't know everything that happened in the hotel room that night, but we do see her, walk away. And then like a few months later, she's pregnant. But keep in mind, she had been sleeping with Ghetto Pat and also Colonel Lockjaw. But we don't know. So what did you think about any of those scenes?
Yeah, like I remember when this scene happened in the bathroom of the bank or wherever. Yeah, when that happens, she's like trying to make use of this situation and use it in her advantage, right? And she's like trying to act seductively so that she can remain in power over this guy and get away with everything that's happening. But then when she gets out and she's walking, like there is that scene where we feel like her face is down. Obviously, like she's not happy about the situation. She's not attracted to this man. That's what I felt like. Yeah. But she just had to do it because it was like for the cause. And it would mean that she would be able to do whatever and have an inside man. So I don't think it was planned previously, but I do think she just made the best of the situation, I guess.
Yeah. I think these scenes that we're all talking about here are very interesting because the film at the very beginning is really playing with the taboo of interracial relationships and interracial sex, right? Like you mentioned in the scene where she's like going down on him, or what we think is going down on him, when they're in the hotel room and they're doing like dom power play with the gun and she's putting it to his back and who knows, then her tongue in his ass, whatever is happening in this freaky world, right? I think I can't think of any other film in relation to interracial relationships that talks about the political aspect of it. Like we watched Jungle Fever, right? And that's just about the social ramifications of crossing the color line, right? But this film is trying to say, you interacting with people across different color lines could mean that somebody's loyalties are not really where they are. You know what I mean? That regular looking white girl could be sleeping with a brother who's a part of the revolution and vice versa. You know what I mean? And it's a very weird angle to take because there is no leftist alive that thinks that this is a proper strategy to actually trying to make change. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I cannot think of any. Listen, everybody can date who they want to date, marry who they want to marry, but we're not going to date who we want to date and marry who we want to marry as some type of political act. That's not radical. That's not revolutionary. That's fetishization. You know what I mean? Yeah. And their strategy is obviously really fucked up, as we see later. But any other comments on that?
I guess just like, once again, going back to Asada and her interactions with the police and soldiers and everything, it's like, kind of reminded me that she was feeling disgusted because these were the people that were oppressing her, right? And it's the same case for Perfidia here, but she's not doing that, which, once again, like you said, it shows a bit of this Paul Anderson's fantasy. Yeah, that is something not actually real, because even myself, like, I am on the left, right? And I would never imagine myself like being in that type of interaction with anyone on the right. Like, as soon as I hear a right thought, I'm like, ugh, brother, like, so it is kind of imaginary.
Yeah, and going back to the shots and the scenes, let's give it up to the film though. Like, I believe this film was shot in this thing called VistaVision. And it's one of the few films that have been shot entirely in VistaVision, which gives it these wide angle shots. And so, like, when they jump to the scene of Perfidia pregnant, shooting AK, like, that's hard. Like, we're not going to say that's not gangster. It wasn't really cool to look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she says, I feel like Tony Montana. So we know Godfather was out.
Right. So it's still weird. Like, we don't know what era this film is made. I don't know, man. It's just out of control. But I think this camp scene here is probably the most important when it comes to analyzing Perfidia's, like, vision. You know what I mean? Because she's sitting around the campfire with one of her homegirls, and she's getting drunk while pregnant, I think. I think she was drinking. Yeah. And, Ghetto Pat is just looking at that and not saying anything, not standing up for what we presume is his baby, right? As she gets drunk, and Perfidia is saying like, pussy is the fucking weapon. It's not the gun. It's this pussy. You know what I mean? Fuck him. I'll blow his brains out right now. And I think I think that's Perfidia saying like, you know what? I'm using sex as a biological weapon. And, if the one drop rule applies and anybody who is mixed with black is black, then I'm going to try to, black the world is essentially what she's saying. And I think Paul Thomas Anderson is a wild boy. Wild boy, if that's really what you think, my guy. But what you saying?
Yeah, I think here Leo made one comment that he said, like, it's like sometimes she doesn't even remember she's a mom or she's pregnant, something like that, right? And I kind of hate this whole perspective and this scene a little bit because it sort of says, like, if you're a revolutionary, if you're a leftist, if you're a liberal woman, you can't be a good mom. Or you can't have, like, common sense not to drink while you're pregnant. Like, oh my God, you're a liberal, you're going to be drinking and smoking weed while you're pregnant.
That's crazy.
It's like putting women in one box because they're not, under patriarchal rule. So that was really annoying.
Why would they? Yeah, it's so crazy. Like, make that make sense. Why would Perfidia do that? You know what I mean? Like, either she had to be like literally crazy, like had the mental disorders or something, or because I can't think of any woman, like her, who would say, "Yeah, I'm gonna drink and not give a fuck what happens to my baby." Maybe she's saying like, "Okay, it's like 9 months now. I'm due any day. I'll have a drink." I don't know if that's any different. I'm not a doctor, but I would just imagine anytime you have a baby and you shouldn't drink. I don't know.
Yeah, like I feel the same way. It's okay to like rebel against traditional motherhood or like being a stay-at-home mom or things like that. We know she's a revolutionary.
Right.
Her motherhood is not going to be the same as maybe like just a regular mom, right? But it doesn't mean it's a bad motherhood. And they made it a bad motherhood, and I really hated that.
Yeah, that was wild. But what do you think about the idea that Perfidia sees her body as a biological weapon? That pussy is the real weapon.
I think that's kind of problematic because it's just like taking what patriarchy is telling to us and weaponizing that. And I don't think that's how the true revolution should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to fuck our way to freedom. Yes. I think that's the fault in Perfidia's logic, and if that's PTA's logic too, or if he's just trying to tell this type of story, it's a crazy logic to have. Because, like, if you sit down for just a good minute, you're gonna realize, like, that's not a way for us to get free. So I'm gonna have sex with the racist white man and the liberal white man, and somehow, we'll be free. Like, I'll find a way to get them free. I know maybe Perfidia was thinking calculus and playing chess like, okay, if I get Lockjaw to lay with me, then maybe he'll be less likely to attack me later because I had his child, or I could use that as a cudgel against him or some type of blackmail. You know what I mean? That could be her calculus, but it's still such a wild strategy because he's a full-on white supremacist. They have no problem selling their kids, killing their kids. You know what I mean? So It's a really risky gamble.
Yeah, and in the movie, like, I feel like we're just reaching. Like, it just, in the movie, very surface level, they're telling us, like, she's basically like a sex addict and a horrible mom. And that's what kind of all they're giving us, other than the fact that she's revolutionary. Yeah.
Well, moving forward in the story, we find out that Perfidia's family actually doesn't like Ghetto Pat. They feel like, he's not fit for her because she comes from a whole line of revolutionaries, which makes me wonder, how do they still have grandma's house? You know what I mean? This is grandma's house. They got all the pictures, all the old furniture, the plastic covering on the couch, but y'all come from a line of revolutionaries? And you still won't let me put my cup on the counter without a coaster, Granny? But you're a revolutionary, though. Okay. Anyway, moving forward, the baby is born, and basically, Perfidia does not feel loved. She's having postpartum depression, and they end up breaking up. She says, I put myself first and I reject your lack of originality. And she says to him, you're never going to do this revolution the way I'm going to do it, the way I will do it, because I know, what's at stake, I guess. So what did you think about those scenes?
With the family scene, I was thinking, because so far in the movie, I feel like as the audience, we're kind of feeling for Pat. We're thinking, oh, like he's getting cheated on in a weirdest way possible. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, we're also kind of rooting for Perfidia as well, because we know she's a revolutionary, but she's just made look like a bad person. Mm-hmm. So this was like interesting that everyone around them actually saw Perfidia as like, as the it girl, like as the perfect person. Obviously, it's her family, so they're gonna see her like that. And they hated,
Ghetto Pat.
Ghetto Pat, while he was not really doing anything. But the postpartum part was actually nice. It could have been explored more, but I like that they said like, oh, she was feeling like a bit jealous of her baby, and then she was also feeling guilt for feeling jealous of her baby. And that's real, a lot of women experience that.
I actually feel like the parts of Perfidia going through postpartum were some of her most in-depth, and they were the most revealing. You know what I mean? I thought that part was actually done really well, and like how they sort of like fast forwarded through time. This is like a 2.5-hour movie, and that easily could have taken up so much of this film, but how they like ran through it and still made it feel deep, it worked for me.
But I have to point out, like, it's once again lacking in a solid ideology or theory, because she's depicted as like a feminist, radical feminist, right? Pussy is power. We are the revolutionary black woman. And even like in the scene when she's arguing with him, she's like, oh, you're, male ego, you're always trying to dominate everything and things like that. But when she's opening up to the audience, it's like she's still needing that validation of a male. Like, that's ironic. To me.
Very.
And it's still natural. That's how she feels, because it is her partner, right? But I just felt like maybe they should have explored that more, at least.
Yeah.
And here, I think it was interesting, like, because Pat was now, we have a child. This is the priority. Family. We should, like, settle down, and that sort of vibe. And then Perfidia was just rejecting all of that. Yeah. And that was an interesting argument, but it lasted, like, 1 minute.
Yeah, it's like, I think one of the themes of this film is, like, our higher calling to, like, try to change society and make things better for the next generation, and also the idea of like family. And that's like a really powerful theme that's carried throughout. And I feel like Perfidia sort of rejects family in a sense, and I'm gonna keep it real, this is probably the part of the film that they kind of got right with leftists, because we want to destroy and abolish the family. The family unit, as we know, is the bedrock of patriarchy. It's where the nation state gains its legitimacy and all this sort of stuff. We want to abolish the family. And Perfidia sort of like is laying that part out the best. Now that I think about it, since you broke it down, that's actually the illest part of Perfidia's journey in this story, at least her parts of the film. So,
I mean, we want to abolish family as a political structure, but leftists still want community and still want partnership and those type of things.
Yeah.
But it's just like a different way of action than
and
the political family we have now.
Yeah, I think Perfidia's conception of the family is being a part of the revolution, the French 75, out there in them streets. And Ghetto Pat probably has a more conservative vision of the family where, we're going to try to be nuclear. We're going to try to be in this house to take care of our baby. You know what I mean? And also, I just think Perfidia is crazy. Like, there's no other way to justify any of her actions other than saying that she's a person who is not all the way there sane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not sane. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward in in the story, one of the weirdest interactions. This is possibly the only direct interaction, if I remember right, in the film between Colonel Lockjaw and Ghetto Pat, and they're meeting at the checkout line at Target, at a Walmart, whatever. Weirdest place in the world to have these two characters meet. And Lockjaw comes up to him and says, "You got a baby girl? What's her name? Charlene. Sounds like a black girl name. You like black girls? Because I love black girls," says Colonel Lockjaw. And oh my God. Oh, I have so much to say about this, but what did you think about this scene?
Yeah, I think obviously this was just a hint to saying like, oh, he knows about it and he thinks it might be his baby. And it's just weird, and it I feel like shows how white men fetishize black women while at the same time being racist. But yeah, it was also saying kind of like Ghetto Pat is clueless, like he doesn't know who this man is, and yeah, and he's basically it's like little bit of a mockery of him because I feel like he was also trying to show off like. Yeah, like you thought you were the only one who was getting with Perfidia, but you actually couldn't satisfy her, and I did. You know, it was kind of like that sort of inner win for this guy.
Once again, I don't know everything that happened between Lockjaw and Perfidia. And in fact, I'm of the impression he never directly penetrated Perfidia. That he was getting bent over. That's what I'm saying. I think Lockjaw was getting that thing, blown out. You know what I'm saying?
He probably did that too, yeah.
Anyway, this scene just made me think about, like getting hints of how white men talk behind closed doors, or how white men are dealing with the psychosis of, maybe being attracted to black women, but not being able to act on it because it's a social taboo to find blackness attractive. You know what I mean? At least in the American context, I'll just say, I would also argue globally, whatever. That's what I was thinking of this scene. And it really directly contrasts with the scene earlier where Perfidia asked, "You like black girls?" You like as seeking affirmation. And this is, "You like black girls," as like a type of condemnation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but then he says, "I love them."
Yes, but before then, he said something really, kind of harmful about the child. Like, Charlene sound like a black girl, man. You know what I mean? Like, just really, really weird, man. But I'll move forward in the story. So now that Perfidia has broken up with Ghetto Pat and she's back outside, she's robbing the banks, and we get this really cool scene where Jungle Pussy, the rapper, jumps up on the bank teller desk and says, "This is some set it off shit. Hands up, put your hands up in the air. My name's Jungle Pussy. This is what revolution look like." Yeah. And so they rob the bank. And while they're robbing the bank, Jungle Pussy shoots a security guard. Yes, she did, because she shot. Perfidia. I know Perfidia shot her after, because Jungle Pussy shot first. Jungle Pussy shot him first, and then she shot him. Okay. But yes, Jungle Pussy shot the guard. Then Perfidia had to shoot him, and she kind of didn't really want to. She starts running through the streets, and she's trying to evade the police, but she gets caught, and all the police are like celebrating and taking selfies with her. And so what do you think about those scenes, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, Jungle Pussy scene, as cool as it was, once again, it was unrealistic, because how is she showing her face and everything like that? But it was cool, like as in Hollywood-esque, very Hollywood. But yeah, I did not expect like for Perfidia to like kill another person, and on top of all, like another black person, right? Because we assume that she's also fighting for like all black life and not just black women, I guess. But yeah, and it was I think like a good shot. Like the action scenes in this movie are well shot. So it just really like pumps up the heart rate. And like we see her like just running trying to outrun the police cars, and she gets
I thought she was gonna make it.
I know, right? Because before in the movie, we see her like practicing running while chewing a gum.
Yeah.
Who can do that? I will be out of breath if I'm chewing a gum and running. But yeah, those were cool scenes. Obviously, I was sad like she got caught, and also like this scene was also just really sad to see. Like they are humiliating because I felt like this is illegal to do something like this, and the way that she was in a wheelchair, I was like, oh, she's probably beat down by the police.
The way she's throwing up the middle finger, it reminds me of Tupac. Tupac got shot, and he threw up the middle finger to the police that came there to pick up his body. So it made me think of that. Also made me think of like Asada, you know what I mean, in general, how she was harassed by the police and they used her like as a trophy when they caught her. And Angela Davis as well, when she was arrested by the police, they were doing the same thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these were all kind of ill scenes. I like Jungle Pussy as an artist and also as an actress. I think she was cool, though I do think she was cast just because her name is Jungle Pussy. Like this is where PTA is in this thing. And yeah, if you rewatch this, you'll see she shot first. Jungle Pussy shot first.
Okay.
You didn't see that when you rewatched it?
No, I did not. That's fine.
Anyway. One more thing I got to say about this scene. I thought this was a chance to lay out more of Perfidia's ideas or beliefs because she really didn't seem like she wanted to shoot this guard who was a black man, right? And all they had to do was make her say, "Stop moving, brother." You know what I mean? To like highlight the fact that maybe her ideology is also, a bit, like radical black politics as well. You know what I mean? Because at this point, we've only seen her rob banks and free immigrants from Latin and have sex with white men. So I mean, like, I was hoping to see some, race consciousness there too. But c'est la vie, c'est la vie. So basically, Perfidia is in jail, and she's also in the hospital. Colonel Lockjaw comes to see her and says, "You got nobody who could help you, but I can. So the only way I can help you is if you name names, or else you're gonna go to prison for the rest of your life." So basically, a lot of the people end up getting arrested. The French 75 is collapsing. Perfidia goes into witness protection, and Ghetto Pat is going to be on the run. He's given a new identity, a new name, and everything like that. And his new name is now Bob Ferguson. And he also gets a new name for his baby, Charlene, and her name is now Willa, right? Jungle Pussy gets arrested, and we end up finding out that Perfidia breaks out of witness protection and leaves a funny note for Lockjaw, who breaks into her house and says, "This pussy don't pop for you." And she ends up leaving for Mexico, and we never see her again for the rest of the film. So what did you think of those scenes and Perfidia ratting, Perfidia leaving?
Yeah. I'm sorry. The one line here in this scene was hilarious. Is when Perfidia said, like, she was trying to get into his good graces, right? And she was like, "You can save me. Hold me." And then General said, "I can give you the federal embrace." And then he did this.
That's funny.
He just did this. Like, it wasn't a hug. He just put his hands on her like this, straight. That was hilarious. What was that?
I have no idea. Some of the dialogue is very weird. It's very...
I was like, what is the federal embrace?
The federal embrace.
But, yeah, anyway. The way, like, she just snitched everyone like that, it was hard to swallow, I think. Because we imagine, at least I imagine her, like, still as a revolutionary, right? Like, you're not going to say anything, even if they hurt you or kill you or whatever. And you go to the end. But once again, we don't know her ideology. So we just keep assuming things that we think.
Onto her.
Yeah.
But it's so frustrating because you want to like Perfidia, but she keeps on doing the absolute worst things. You know what I mean? Or things that seems totally inconsistent with this type of character.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like there was I thought this scene was also cool because you can see like kind of the inner workings of French 75, like how they plan for everything, right? They have these like two, I don't know, phone machine thingies.
Yeah, sensors.
Sensors that beep when they're together. And, this guy, I think his name is Billy Goat, right? gives it to them, and they have all this plan. You go here, and there's like this booklet that is given to Bob Ferguson now, Ghetto Pat, and they say like memorize all of this, like your life depends on it, and it's like a whole book.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I think to see like how they plan for everything, but I do think it was Hollywoodized,
Yeah.
in that way.
I mean, the French 75 in general looks like a good, like, well-run organization. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind joining the underground. But we just got to learn more about their ideology. You know what I mean? So, but they move out, you know what I mean? Perfidia disappears, and then we fast forward 16 years later, and we're introduced to Willa, who is doing, like, karate in a dojo with Benicio del Toro as her sensei, right? What's sensei's name?
Sergio.
Sergio's another character we'll talk about. But she's like 16 or 17, and she's in high school, right? Bob, or Ghetto Pat, as he was formerly known, we'll call him Bob moving forward, right? He's like checking up on his daughter at school, making sure she's learning the right history, about slavery and oppression in America and stuff like that. But generally, Willa has grown up to be a really good kid, despite the fact her mama took vodka shots.
And her dad always smokes weed.
Yeah, Bob is now high all the time, like just stoned crazy. Yeah, so basically, we also catch up with Lockjaw, and Lockjaw basically gets invited to the Illuminati, which is called in this movie the Christmas Adventurers Collective. Christmas Adventurers Club. Yeah. I think it's funny it's called CAC, because to me that means crack ass cracker. So moving forward, I just might call it the crack ass cracker club. But basically, they're white supremacist, supposedly billionaires maybe, because they look really rich and stuff like that. And they want to make sure that everybody who joins this very illustrious group is racially pure. Not only themselves, that they're white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, that they're also not Jewish, but that they also have not had interracial sex or children, right? And Lockjaw lies and says, I've never been with a black woman. What's a black woman? Never seen them. Don't know what they look like. And they're like, well, great. Well, we're just going to run a quick background check, and then you're good to go, buddy. And so, yeah. Well, before we jump ahead, what did you think about any of these scenes?
I thought this like opening scene where we're introduced to Willa was cool. Like she looked cute with her little karate. That was nice. And of course, Leo is just Leo. Every role he has to do drugs.
Yeah.
After like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was like weird in a way, like how they were portraying him, and it was kind of weird because he was like questioning, like you have all the slave owners on the walls talking about, all the presidents of the United States, but then he's like very lacking in other wokeness areas throughout the movie.
Yeah. So
it's weird, like how they're trying to make him a certain type of leftist.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that part of his character and how it was written. And I'll talk more on that. And then this one, it was just like, regular white supremacist activities, I guess. Like, and Lockhart is very excited. He really wants to be in this club. Like, it's his like lifelong goal, because when they let him know that this guy called him or something, he's like, I know what's gonna happen. Yay, I'm gonna join the club. So yeah, we know like he's been wanting this, and
Yeah, I thought the Christmas Adventurers Club Association was a really cool touch to add to this film. I didn't expect that. And I feel like this secret society, compared to the French 75, is more freshly layered out. It's more explained, and it's more well done. And it makes you want to learn more actually about them than actually the French 75, which I think goes to show like how, like media propaganda can make you like, get dissuaded from like actual radical politics and just buy into bourgeoisie ideals. You know what I mean? So, I really liked the the scenes with just Bob like stoned out of his mind, trying to be a good dad, smoking weed in the car. You know what I mean? And going to Willa, I think I was looking forward to seeing what would happen with this character. Right? I didn't know what to expect. The way this shot was done, it just gives like this hopeful look, like she's just like naive and blind and stuff like that. But also, this film is giving a bit of Star Wars too. And, in Star Wars, basically, Luke Skywalker and Leia, they're like the chosen ones that are separated from their evil father and a bunch of stuff. Like some stuff was also giving a bit of Star Wars too, as I was thinking about that.
I do have to say, I'll say this later, but Willa actually was one of my favorite characters in terms of like how it was written, and I'll explain that later.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll say for me, my favorite character is kind of the Lacoste killer right here. I love this guy. This guy's sick, bro. And we'll talk about that later. But basically, Billy Goat is still, a part of the radical French 75 left. He's running like a podcast where he just says a bunch of random left-wing buzzwords. These openly racist, capitalistic pigs, Nazis, fascists. Facebook, Instagram, AI algorithms, brother. He's like a white Hotep. He's the white Dr. Umar in these internet streets. And so, yeah, basically he's talking mad shit until he gets his ass black masked, you know what I mean, and kidnapped by this guy. I think his name is Blackfoot or something like that. Toe Jam, yes, Agent Toe Jam. Insane. Yeah, comes and picks his ass up. And so he gets taken away. He's arrested and tracked down, right? And these little kids actually in the neighborhood who watch Billy Goat get arrested, we think that they're not a part of the resistance, but they run inside Billy Goat's house and they put out code 46, blue 52, whatever, like repeat that, Billy Goat has now been arrested, reporting to the underground, you know?
That was cute as hell.
That was cute. That was really cool.
Who doesn't want to see little revolutionary kids?
I love that.
That was so cute.
That was cool. But, Billy Goat gets taken to this army guy who's like, interviewing people and stuff like that. And, basically what has happened is this. Because Lockjaw wants to get into the cracker Illuminati, he is now hunting down baby Charlene. Because he thinks that might be the reason he doesn't enter the white supremacist upper society. So he's got the whole military going to this small Colorado town to track them down, right? And so, that basically Billy Goat doesn't want to give them up, but then they threaten his sister, and then he snitches too. So, yeah, that's that.
Everybody's a snitch.
Everybody's snitching. So what did you think about any of these scenes?
I don't blame Billy Goat that much because at least he had a reason to snitch, I guess. Like his, sister was in danger. But, yeah, it is crazy that, like, the whole army is trying to find this one 16-year-old girl just to kill her so that this one guy could go into Adventurers Club. Obviously, no one knows about this whole ordeal other than the guy itself, right? But I kind of like this plot. Yeah. It was okay. Yeah.
It is. It makes sense. It moves the story forward, I guess. Yeah. And at this part of the film, I was more bought in. And I feel bad to say this, but when Perfidia was gone, the movie got better. And it's not because of, Perfidia. It's the fact that they didn't do much with her character other than make her horny and crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now it starts to pick up steam and start rolling. So moving forward, Lockjaw is looking for reasons to evade this Colorado town. So they just make up some shit. There's a meth lab, heroin trafficking organization running this small Colorado town.
they attack like a fried chicken factory.
Yeah, like
immigrants work in it or something.
Yeah. Like they're just picking up any reason. And they started naming some crazy places like Papa's Pizzeria on 42nd Street is a known hub for gang activity. So basically we see that Willa and Bob are living basically in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like Tatooine. For the rest of this film, I'm just dropping Star Wars references. So they're living in Tatooine, right? Or Naboo, more like Naboo. And basically, yeah, Bob is like the old left. He's not woke. The software didn't update, so he sees Willa's friends pull up in the car, and he's like, "Is that a he, a she, or a they?" And she's like, "Dad, it's so easy. They, them." And he's like, "Listen, boy or girl, whatever you do to my daughter, I'm gonna do to you."
No, that was not the trans.
That's what I said. He said, "Whatever. I don't care what your pronouns is." But this scene was cute. What do you think of this? Anything?
I mean, they have like a little back and forth, which kind of shows us like maybe Willa sees her father as like a bit crazy because every time she goes out, she has to take one of the machines, right? Just in case she's in danger or anything like that. But she thinks it's unnecessary, like nothing ever is gonna happen. So yeah, they have also like. They have a little bit of an argument, I think, because she's asking him, like, where were you last night? You were drinking. So we know, like, Bob is really getting fucked up every night, like, smoking weed all the time, drinking, and then being, like, a weird father.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have, like, a relationship that feels like they love each other, but they're also, like, conflicting also, like, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just normal, teen girl, I know better than my parents type of stuff. So it's like, it feels very like coming of age and traditional a bit. Like this is like I felt like maybe this film could have been iller had the whole perfidious section been cut. What do you think about that? If the film just basically starts with Willa in the dojo, what do you think?
I mean, at least it wouldn't have made the Black revolutionary woman look bad, I guess. So that could have worked better.
I wonder how this film might look like if you cut out that first 30 minutes and just watch with Willa in the dojo, and then you get the backstory on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, if the backstory is still the same, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
I just wish, like, the reason Perfidia left was not that, you know? And that's real, too, but I just feel like it shouldn't have been picked for this type of movie where millions see it,
I see.
But yeah.
Moving forward, basically there's helicopters flying over this small Colorado town. The military has landed, Lockjaw is here. They're doing raids everywhere. And out of nowhere, at her high school dance, her sensor goes off. And Willa thought this entire time, like, her dad was just making up stuff. This thing doesn't work. It's just some stupid, device he gives to monitor me or whatever. But then Deandra, played by Regina Hall, the great Regina Hall that you can see in the mirror here, she pops up and she says, basically reciting Gil Scott Heron's famous poem, the revolution will not be televised. And the way the code is, like, Willa has to say one part, Deandra has to say another part, for them to recognize that they should trust each other with their lives. You know what I'm saying? And Deandra comes and says, "You got to come with me." And so they start running out of the dance, and they're trying to, escape. Meanwhile, Ghetto Pat, or Bob, whatever, is out of his mind smoking weed, watching Battle of Algiers for the 500th time, when he gets a call saying, "What's the time, brother?" He's like, "I don't know the time." He's like, "Bob, your daughter has been kidnapped. We need you to know what is the time." He's like, "I don't remember the fucking code, man. It's me, Bob, bro. You gotta trust me." And they're like, "Sir, I can't give you the code or let you know where the rendezvous point is until you tell me the time." So yeah, this becomes like a fight in the movie for the next few minutes. And then the army breaks into Bob's house. He escapes through a tunnel that he dug under his house, barely by the skin of his teeth. Yeah. Any comments on any of those scenes?
Yeah, I think this part, it was definitely like filled with more action, this is when it starts. And I was like, is she going to trust her? Is she not going to trust her? But it was also like, if I was in her situation, I would be like really, really scared, that this random stranger comes up to me and I have to trust him with my life and leave my dad.
I mean, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course you're going to trust Obi-Wan.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, that was the last one. That was too much. That's too much.
But this scene was cool. them raiding a high school was insane. Like the police.
The way they did it too, like they turn on all the lights while the
Yeah.
kids are like grinding on each
Aww,
other.
music went off.
Like,
and it's like, everybody get down.
Yeah, this movie feels very present and right now because, you know, this past year we've just seen, please, Mr. Trump, don't deport us. Like, that's all we've been seeing all year. And just ICE raids, like, you know, snatching abuelas off the street. You know?
Yeah.
It's just been nasty. What do you think about that this movie is talking about that issue at this time? You know what I mean? Like, how we're treating immigrants in the U.S., but I would also argue around the world, like it's becoming more inhumane. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure if this movie is necessarily saying anything about that issue other than just showing it. But if I have to say something, this movie is probably saying the left should embrace, this community because they have been also la viva revolution, like they have been knowing this stuff and they've been fighting the power, whether it's like it was within their own country or whether it was when they came to America. So yeah, like that's one thing I would say this movie is saying, but they're not really that much involved in the story other than maybe like Sergio. Yeah. Right? And he is kind of like the guy who knows everything.
I mean, we'll talk about that more, but I just thought, that this film is definitely making a major statement right now with its plot line, because at this part, this military force invades a small town, claiming that there are illegals here and drug dealers and traffickers, and it just goes to show how the government makes up stuff to use its military force, you know what I mean, against its own citizens and internal threats, But I like this part where Deandra shows up and Willa has to sort of trust this woman she's never seen before, like a crazy person, you know what I mean? And I really liked how they escaped. And I thought this scene was actually really funny. And it also made me realize Leo's great talent is just being on the phone. Like, I could literally sit and watch a 90-minute movie where all Leo does is talk to customer service at his bank. You know what I mean? Like, he is so good at that.
Yeah, it's like annoyed Leo core. And that's what we want to watch.
Yes, that's what we want.
Like, when he gets pissy. Yeah. And especially, like, this movie, he's on the phone a lot, right? Yeah. But he is really good with, everything.
Yeah, like, the way he does it. Like, he is just, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Sir, I don't believe you. Can you please verify your information? God damn it, I said my that's what we need, man. But anyway, so he's still trying to get to the rendezvous point, and we get more Leo on the phone, which is amazing. And he's like, God, these motherfucking police are right after me. I don't know the time, man. I smoked a lot of weed. My brain is fried. I'm sorry, man. I didn't read the books. And he's like, sir, if you read the material, you would know that this is very serious. So, yeah. Basically, Bob can't get any help. So he ends up pulling up to the dojo where Sergio, his daughter's karate teacher, works. And he's like, man, they're chasing after me. They got my daughter. I need help. And Sergio's like, well, it's pretty serious, man. It's heavy metal, bro. What are we going to do? And so basically Sergio becomes the wise sensei guiding Bob throughout the traumatic events that are breaking this town apart. You know what I mean? So what did you think about any of those scenes?
I like these two's friendships because Sergio is very calm and collected, and Bob is frantic, right, anxious. Yeah. And he just brought these two, every time I feel like they're on the scene together, they bring kind of comedy because I feel like Sergio's character is also a bit comedic relief. In the way that he's sarcastic, and we love his sarcasm on the screen, right? And then Leo is a bit of this goofy dad, and I like their dynamic. I think they really worked well together in the movie.
Yeah, I like Benicio Guillermo del
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro. I was thinking about Guillermo some del Toro or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Benicio del Toro played Fidel and made 2 great movies about Fidel, so he'll always be a GOAT in my book. And I really like this character too. Cool, calm, collected, Mexican sensei. One thing I didn't get though is like, why is this Colorado town like 90% Latino? You know what I mean? Like, is that really the demographics right now? Like, really right now?
The time and the places don't make sense.
The time, yeah, because, like, I don't know, man. Like, there are some places in America where, yeah, there's a lot of Latinos, like Southern California, New Mexico, parts of Texas is basically 100% Latino. But there's some places that are white as hell. And Colorado is, like, from my knowledge, like, one of the whitest states. Just male everywhere. You know what I mean? I didn't know it was like that. You know what I mean? That's why Trump won. Shit.
Is it a symbol that Sergio has a Superman poster?
I mean, everybody loves Superman. But maybe, in a sense, he is kind of the Superman in this film, right? He's sort of like the magical Latino.
Wow. Let's not go there.
All right, anyway. So basically, Willa starts talking to Deandra, and Deandra asks, you know, have you ever heard of Colonel Lockjaw? He's after you right now. And Willa says that her father told her he's the one that killed my mom, right? And very similar to Luke Skywalker. I said I wasn't going to do this. Luke Skywalker said the same thing. He's like, my father died many years ago. You know what I mean? Something like that. And I don't believe Lockjaw actually killed Perfidia.
No, he didn't. She escaped.
Yeah, she escaped. She lived. So I don't know why. But I think also Lockjaw runs with the lie that he killed Perfidia. And maybe also... you know, Bob thinks so too. Maybe he called a drone strike on her ass when she was hiding out in Yemen. I don't know.
I mean, I think the only thing he says about her is that he buried her.
Yeah.
So he doesn't openly says, like, yeah, I got her killed. We don't know what buried means. It could be killed or it could be, like, forgotten, you know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But I don't think, because the ending, like, I don't think she's dead.
Yeah. I mean, the letter that we read from Perfidia at the end, we don't know if it was from years ago or if she continued to send letters.
True.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Who knows? Anyway,
we don't know a lot.
Anyway, so basically, there's protests in the streets because the ICE agents, essentially that's what they are. The ICE agents are out there harassing all the people, arresting everybody, right? And so the police, are watching these people who are getting really angry with them. So then they call in one of their cops to pose as a protester to throw a Molotov cocktail to give the police justification to start shooting and killing people and stuff like that.
They're like, call in the Van Halen.
Yeah.
And this guy comes and
which is wild.
Up everything.
Yeah. So moving forward, Sergio is walking through the city, right? And, he basically has his whole community ready to prepare for situations like this, right? There's a lot of people who are illegal here, possibly people that are working under the table, whatever, right? And they all know what to do. They have drills in place and practices to get ready to fight against the oppressors, right? So that was really cool to see. Like, everybody was on code and ready. You know what I mean?
Nobody was freaking out. Like, there wasn't even one scream.
Yeah. Moving forward, like Bob is still on the phone with leftist customer service, which sounds like hell. Imagine being like, sir, before I can help you, may I know your pronouns? So anyway, leftist customer service is still not helping him because he doesn't know the time. So then he calls in like a code 47 or something like that.
Yeah, Great Tomahawk. Something.
Great Tomahawk. I'm calling in a Great Tomahawk, which is code for, like, let me speak to the manager.
Yeah, he pulled a Karen.
And so he gets on the phone with whoever the boss is, right? And the boss says, what's my favorite kind of pussy? And Bob says, Mexican hairless. And
that he remembers.
Yes, that he remembers. He doesn't remember the time, but he says, Mexican hairless. And the guy says, "Oh my God, this is a fucking war legend, man. Hook him up. Tell him the rendezvous point and say sorry." So, what did you think about any of those scenes?
I just thought like the nonchalant, sexist rhetoric
Mm-hmm.
this French 75 has is
Yeah.
weird and ironic, considering their leader is a woman who thinks pussy is power. I don't know, like they're naming code names after their favorite sex positions and what is their favorite pussy and things like that. So that was definitely. I was like, yep, male director.
Yeah. Yes.
But I like the scenes where we go into Sergio's like community and everyone is on code, and I like how they did like he's controlling all of this movement, and then he's telling his son, get off the phone. I like that little part of like normalcy there, where the kid is still on TikTok, but he's a revolutionary.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of sexism within the French 75, and maybe just like a looseness. Maybe they're like dirtbag leftists who maybe don't care about being politically correct or anything like that, because who cares about the language you say if the actions you're taking are life or death? You know what I mean? Maybe there's that aspect to it. I don't know. I just feel like maybe the cheapest way to get a good laugh of the audience is say, "Hey, pussy." You know what I mean? It's like low-brow, low-vibrational comedy that you could just get. It's like guy humor. Mexican hairless, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I really liked this scene with the fake protester. That was just good to see on screen. I like that. Once again, the whole community on code. This was cool, especially like the moving shots. But I did not like the music. At this part of the film, there was this like tingly, jazzy type of suspenseful music that was playing the entire time. And I felt like this dramatic scene needed strings. It didn't need like NPR background music. It didn't need like New York Times podcast loading intro music. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
What did you think?
I like the music, and just looking at Wikipedia, just giving some trivia. Basically, the score was composed by Radiohead guitarist Johnny Greenwood, recorded with the London Contemporary Orchestra and conductor Hugh Brunt. But yeah, it was like this contemporary jazzy situation that was happening. Yeah. I liked it. I enjoy that kind of music, and I also thought it took off a little bit of the tension because a lot was happening, and it was very dramatic, and it was very tragic, right? Because we see all these like protests is happening. We see the like illegal immigrants, and they're panicking a little bit, and the music kept everything like on pace and sort of like still had that mouse cat chase type of feeling.
I got you. I just want like more traditional strings, high intensity. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I thought that would have been cool, you know what I mean, in the background.
I like the quirky music.
It's a little bit too quirky. It almost makes you want to laugh at the scenes or feel like you're watching some type of joke, you know what I mean? Especially how Sergio acts sometimes. Like when he goes underground and he slams the cellar shut and then the carpet rolls over him. You know,
that's cute. I mean, giving a bit of like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, and like this is a serious ass film about the government fucking slaughtering people.
But how serious is it?
It's serious. It's a serious issue, yo. The government is like, putting kids in cages.
No, that's serious, but this movie is not about like ICE raids.
It is. This is a major part. Like we only see the French 75.
It is a backdrop.
It's a major backdrop. You know what I'm saying? I think the immigration stuff is a major theme in this film. I
think it's cool that it is included, and it definitely suits the time that we are living in. But I wouldn't say this is a movie about like Hispanic revolution or liberation or anything like that.
I think that's what, Sergio is supposed to represent. He has this line in the film where he says, we've been under assault, for hundreds of years, right? And, he's talking about Latin people, which are more directly tied to indigenous people, right? Like the majority of the people that are indigenous to the Americas are mostly Spanish speaking people in those types of countries. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, there's a whole history of mutual aid, taking care of the community in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
at the same time, he sacrifices himself for Bob Ferguson and says it's an honor to save Bob Ferguson from French 75.
And
So that's why I'm saying it's like, yeah, it's in the movie, but it feels more like a side character or a side quest rather than the main idea, you know?
I think there are three types of revolutionaries in this film. There's the French 75 radical, you know, leftists wanting to blow stuff up. There's the cracker Christmas adventurers who want to do the revolution behind closed doors with money and influence and, you know, maintain white supremacy. And then there's the mutual aid, the groundedness, the network building, the community organizing of what is given as the Latino people here in this small town in Colorado, right? And these are all different types of revolutionary groups that have different principles and notions of going through what they want to see change.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But the two forces that are like there was, I feel like, French 75 and then the white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was sort of like the side quest.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I viewed it in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it also became a bit silly, you know, because like,
yeah.
you know, when after he gets the code, you know, he starts escaping, you know, and Bob is jumping off the roofs, and these guys that he's with, they're like parkour specialists. These guys are jumping like Superman and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're skaters.
They're skaters, but the way they're jumping over stuff is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And here comes Bob, like, ugh.
He's not jumping, like
he's crawling over.
Crawling, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, basically Bob is escaping. He's running through. Meanwhile, you know, Willa's friends are taken into questioning by the police that have raided the school dance. And we have this, you know, non-binary guy saying, I don't have her number. And what was up with the acting with some of these people? Like, some of these minor characters had very flat affects. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no emotion in the voice. They sounded like me doing, like, commercials for, like, TikTok stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, buy Domino Dreams. Download the app today. You know what I mean? What was up with that?
I feel like maybe now the new generation kind of talks like that, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. Like, it didn't bother me that much. But yeah.
I think once again, this is the 70s core aspect or the blaxploitation aspect of this film. And like, we watch a lot of those blaxploitation films, and some of the people can't act. You know what I mean? They say the lines very flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, basically, like here, we learned that okay, so Bob didn't let her daughter have a phone, right? But she had a phone in secret. And what happened when the police were interrogating the students and Willa's friends? They were all saying like, "Oh, she doesn't have a phone. She doesn't have a phone," so they were not ratting out. And the only one non-binary person was chosen to be the rat in this group. And she says like, "Wait, okay, I'll tell you."
Yeah, like out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't panic or anything. It's like he's walking out the door and he says, "Wait, I will do something bad today. I want to be bad." I feel like being bad today.
Yeah. I mean, we can say something about why it was the non-binary person that was chosen to be the snitch, right? It's
like he was trying to piss off us. Like to do this
Paul
film.
Anderson?
Yeah, he was literally trying to piss us off. He knew that this would get us talking, that this would hype up the film. Like, there's no other way to say, like, you know who I'm going to make the bad guy? Trans. You know? Or the bad girl. Like, what? You knew this was going to piss us off.
Unnecessary.
But maybe that's something to give the right wing. You know what I mean? Because this movie is, like, shitting on everything, like, conservative. So it's like, hey, yeah, trans people are kind of gross. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's what he's trying to say.
I was thinking maybe, but it's without the context, so we don't know what his motive was by picking this character to be the snitch. But I was thinking maybe, it's like the non-binary character thought maybe he was in most danger because he would be going to prison, and bad things could happen to him compared to the white girl, for example.
Yeah.
Or like there was the guy, straight guy, whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe that, but I'm reaching like. There's no reason for me to think that because
that's a real thing. No, that's a real thing because trans people are victims behind bars. You know what I mean? And they're, he might identify as a woman, right? But they might send him to the male prison because obviously this is right-wing America time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he might get really messed up in there. So I could see that. It makes sense, but still. Like, there's no context for that. We have to explain that. Yeah. And so we walk away from this movie like, girl, what did you do? Anyway, moving forward, man. So basically, Bob's fat ass falls off the roof and he gets tased and arrested by the police, right? Willa gets taken to a convent by Deandra, and the head nun there doesn't like her or trust her because Perfidia was a rat. You know what I mean? So they're saying that she might be a rat too. Also, Willa is very pissed off. No, Willa pisses off Deandra because she lied to Deandra and said, I don't have a phone. And then when the phone rings, they're now obviously being tracked down. And so now the police are even closer on their tail. So we also see that the crack-ass Illuminati, they find out that Lockjaw might have a mixed-race child. And we find this out because another person snitched. Like, I'm starting to get pissed off now. Everybody started snitching. Nobody could keep their mouth closed. Because even a dead person, a person we forgot was in the movie, Jungle Pussy said, hey, my friend Perfidia had a mixed-race baby with Lockjaw. Like, what?
Yeah, why is everyone on the good side snitching?
Everybody starts telling. Like, out of all, like, Jungle Pussy, you good. You good in jail.
Looking at, like, how much of a good structure they have systematically in French 75 movement.
Right.
And then how much of a snitch they are as a whole group is insane. How are you going to have that much dedication to create the whole system underground and then be snitches?
Exactly. The fuck? Like, they know, they memorize code, they memorize books, they know they're running up in banks and shit like that, but as soon as they get sat down in that interrogation room with the white man, then it's, I'll tell you everything, boss.
Yeah, it's like Jungle Pussy didn't need to tell that tea.
I know.
She was like, girl, let me tell you
he's spilling
what
tea.
happened.
He's just spilling tea. Yes, those, what is that? Anyway, so basically, this is what actually one of the coolest scenes. I really like this scene, but I also wish that, they did a scene like this for the French 75, because here we get, the Christian adventurers meeting, and they are really talking about their ideology. We find out that they even don't view Native Americans, like the indigenous people, as real Americans. You know what I mean? We find out that their Christmas name, they actually, say, Hail Saint Nick when they see each other. And they do weird bows and greetings whenever they're around each other that all sort of bolster the idea that this is a secret society with a lot of rituals. And I wish they did that for the French 75, where they explained their ideas and sat around the table and we saw who the core members were. But what did you think of this scene?
I mean, I agree with you. It felt a bit cliche, like when in the beginning of this scene, the guy with the red shirt, he walks in from the tunnel, and it felt a bit like, okay, eyes wide shut, like, what is happening? That was a bit cliche, but I like this scene also. Like you said, I agree with you, because only thing we got from French 75 was pussy is power. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Yeah. But then we have like this whole 10-minute talk from, the Adventurers Club.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think, Paul Thomas Anderson, whatever, man, PTA, I hate you, man. But he obviously has more knowledge about this type of world, because this is the world he probably comes from. These are his circles. These are his golf buddies. So he hears how they talk, and he's just spicing it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could have got information about Black revolutionary woman too.
Right, exactly.
He's married to one.
Or he could have just watched a few films like Set It Off, like Dead Presidents.
Or read a few books.
Read a few books, watched Caged Heat. You know what I mean? Some stuff like that. I feel like to some degree, this film would have been better had Quentin Tarantino made it. I know that might be a controversial take, but I feel like with the themes of like liberation and a lot of the violence in here, this film wouldn't have some goofy shit in it.
Last night you said that, and I was like, "What? No." First, and then I was like, "Okay, maybe I can see it," because you mentioned like Inglorious Bastards and those type of
and Django,
in Django, like those kind of political, systematic movies that he makes, and I can see that. And those movies still have a bit of goofiness or comedic relief.
They do,
but not as much as this one.
Right. This one has some good parts that are realistic, but then other parts kind of like don't make sense. You know what I mean, for the characters, right? And they kind of make you dislike the characters or don't look at them as true heroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the difference might be that he uses more like a satire, and then here in this movie, Paul Thomas Anderson is just doing flat out comedy, right? The goofy guy, like that's not satire. That's just comedy. And for what was the other guy's
Quentin
name?
Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino. He's more like a satire type of dude.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, a bit of satire, but also a bit of the subject of the film being able to exist in a type of space where they're allowed to be, you know, sort of like heroic and
really
like,
discovered.
Yeah, really sort of, discover themselves, and you discover them as you watch the film too. So, yeah, I think. Anyway, moving forward though, this is a really cool scene in and of itself. But we see now that Willa is now shooting the gun on the range with the nuns. And I thought this was an interesting scene too. A contrast, of course, with the pregnant scene of Perfidia on the range shooting guns with the revolutionaries. And now she's with the nuns. Any comments here on this shot?
I just wish we had seen more of the nun society, because it's such an interesting society. They grow weed and they're nuns, but they're anarchists.
And they're cursing too. They're like, listen, bitch, this your room.
I just love the whole aesthetic and everything. Like nuns with combat boots. Like who doesn't love that? And and they could have explored maybe like how they feel about Perfidia, because we know how they feel, but maybe why they're still going for the revolution or something, about the ideology. They could have explained it to her. But, it was also like here, Willow was kind of struggling to accept like her mom was a rat, because she knew her as a hero.
I know this review might be going on long, but this film was like 2.5 hours. It didn't feel like it. But I feel like there's even more of this film that was shot and missing. And like you said, like the nuns talking about Perfidia, maybe explaining who Perfidia was to Willa. You know what I mean? How they remember her and how she's built up in her mind. Because I feel like Perfidia has an effect on Willa in the sense like there's this larger than life figure that she has to live up to. And, she has to maybe also learn about that. And we can learn about how other people talk about her now. Because her legacy is so crazy. Yeah. But moving forward, Bob is able to break out of the hospital because Sergio is connected in the streets like that. So, the sensei sends a few of his people who work at the hospital, at the police station, after he gets arrested to hook him up and let him out of jail. And I thought that scene was hella cool.
Yes.
Right? Meanwhile, Lockjaw finds this place across the street from the convent and finds out that Willa is there. And they break into the convent, arrest everybody, and especially take Willa to go meet Lockjaw, who forces her into a chair to do a DNA test. and he tells her like, if these two lines match up, we got a problem because that means you gotta go. I will be great. You know what I mean? And while they're waiting for the DNA test results, you know, he's trying to talk with her because he's still trying to make like her be his daughter or something like that, or like try to play daddy after all these years, right? But she's like, I have nothing to say to you and stuff like that. And I think she said something like,
why is your shirt so
tight? Yeah, she said, why is your shirt so tight? He says, I'm not a homosexual. I'm not gay, if that's what you're saying, right? And stuff like that. And I think also Willa asks, did you rape her or something like that?
Yeah.
Did he ask her that here?
Yeah, she asked her.
And what did he say? Do you remember?
No, I think he said like she loved me or I loved her, something like that. I think,
something like that. Well, before we get into the results of that, any comments on any of these scenes?
Yeah, I mean, this escape scene was cool, and this was also like even kind of comedic. And once again, I have to say, like, also yes, this movie shows like the ICE raids, and maybe there's that symbolism of it, and the Latino community and everything. But a lot of the snitches in the movie are also people of color, and they look like Latinos or like, I don't know. They don't look white. Yes, they're not. They look non-white, like this guy behind, and also like there was one Native American guy, Toe Jam, right? That is working for the white man. So that's an interesting choice too.
Yeah.
If this movie is about that, and then there's these other characters, and I'm not saying like, there isn't any traitors in any community or anything like that, but it's these are all choices that are made by the director.
I thought the director having the man wear a taco shirt is hilarious. The man, like, what is that? What is that? Like, because, what is happening?
Lockjaw said like, at first before they went there, he was like, "Find me a reason to get there: drugs and tacos."
That's
so he
crazy.
Means, like drugs and immigrants. Like what?
Yeah.
Drugs and Mexicans.
Yeah, there's a lot of like slick racism that they use. You know what I mean? Like they invade the town and they say, we got a few wets here. And if you don't know, in America, like wetback is a racial slur for Latino people. You know what I mean? And they slide that in throughout the film. You know what I'm saying? It's like all throughout it. And yeah, man, I think there's some really interesting dialogue choices and wardrobe choices and choices of side character actors like the Taco Man here.
Yeah.
It gives very like, the film feels very like amateurish at points, and then other points is like highbrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm thinking, are we thinking too racially focused? But I don't know.
On the film?
Yeah.
No, because this is a film that makes interracial sex its main antagonistic point, and plus everything in America, in my opinion, is like, coded through race. You know what I mean? If you have a whole film where people are referring to Latino people as slurs, if you have a whole film where the main bad guy is doing a very bad thing because he had sex with a black woman one time and he's about to kill his own daughter just because she's black. I mean, of course, you're not thinking racially. You're just thinking American.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I got the virus.
Yeah. I mean, the world's got it. It's not just you.
That is true.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, the DNA test shows up, and Lockjaw, you are the father. But sorry, I skipped that. I maybe jumped ahead. But basically, we see Bob here freaking out, in the car with Sergio. It's like, I miss my daughter, bro. I miss her. I wasn't the best dad. I never got mad at her about anything. And I never knew how to do box braids. I never learned how to part properly.
Yeah. This is why this movie is frustrating, because this is literally the time when he's kind of opening up, right? He's saying, I always thought maybe Perfidia was gonna walk out the door, not these assholes. And then he says, "But I never knew how to do her hair."
I never
and
learned.
I'm like, what? This was supposed to go deeper, not the other way. Like, why is this the conversation?
I just kept buying her bottles and bottles of castor oil, and I thought it would just be enough. I was kind of scared to go into the black barbershop. They just looked at me weird.
Why does Leo sound like Jay-Z?
I'm just saying, he's crying. He's crying, man. Part of me, about this film makes me feel like this is an exploration of Paul Thomas Anderson and other white men's, deep-seated fears of, having black people in their life, and in this case, black women. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna get judgment from other white men who are you like black girls. You're not gonna be able to be a proper father because I can't do her hair. You won't be able to protect her from the racist police that are gonna come after her. You know what I mean? This feels like really this film is less about whatever's on screen and more about analyzing how white men think about their choice if they do decide to make that choice to have a black wife or black children.
You think this is just Paul Anderson thinking himself?
Yeah.
I can't do my daughter's hair.
I can't do it right, man. Anything past 2C is hard for me.
Wow.
Anyway, man. Basically, the police catch Sergio, and they're trying to chase him. And Bob ends up jumping out the car with the sniper rifle gifted to him by the sensei. He tries to take a shot at Lockjaw as he's leaving the car, about to go kill Willow, and he sees this, but he misses the shot, and then basically Lockjaw's soldiers are shooting at him from up high. And, in the car, Willa is like, "Where are you taking me? Did you hurt my mother? Why did you kill her?" Or something like that. And Lockjaw says, she was a warrior, a righteous warrior, freedom, something like that. Is that right? What was the conversation?
Well, Willa was saying she was a rat, actually. So Willa, I guess she was feeling bad that Perfidia was her mom at that point.
Yeah.
Because of what the nun said. And we sort of now see here that Lockjaw kind of, in this weird state where he actually admires Perfidia, right? Because she's a warrior, she's a courageous woman, and she wasn't afraid. But he's just too racist to that, or to admit that. But yeah, I feel like he actually wants to have a daughter that he would actually have maybe in a real regular world, not a real world, in a regular ideal world, he would have a relationship with Perfidia, maybe.
Yeah, and raise Willow.
Yeah, but it's just his ideology is stopping him. There's
a weird dynamic because he's like, "You should have put on more makeup. You went to the fucking dance. You gotta wear better clothes, but you're black and I can't love you." It's this weird dynamic that's going on in his head that I found so interesting, and I think that lends even more credence to this idea that I'm laying out, that this film, especially this Lockjaw Willa these scenes, right? It's really just about, this psychosis of, black daughterism. You know what I mean? It's because he's really torn. He doesn't know what to say to her. Should I be her dad? Should I protect her? And when you're watching the film, for me, I was like, is he going to run away with her? Is he going to try to leave and say, fuck this, I'm going to protect my daughter at all costs?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Lockjaw ends up meeting with Toe Jam and says, can you kill this kid? Can you kill? I need a late term abortion. I think that's
how late.
How late? Exactly, right. Which is kind of ironic. A right winger wants an abortion, but of course they got it too late. Anyway, Toe Jam says, "I don't kill kids. That's not me." So Lockjaw's like, "Can you take them to your guys out west? I know they'll do it." And he's like, "Okay, I'll just drop them off." And Lockjaw's like, "All right, bet." And so he throws his daughter in the car, with Toe Jam. She's kicking and screaming, and he's like, "If you had any manners, we might have gotten to know each other." Like blaming her for her victimization, of course. Yeah, Toe Jam is looking kind of concerned. He's like, "Yo, this is really fucking bad. I can't be trafficking kids to get killed." Right?
Yeah.
So, basically, also we see that Deandra has been taken in by the police, and she's dropping teardrops. Meanwhile, Sergio is getting arrested by the police, and he's just had a few beers.
Yeah,
so
he's chill.
He's kind of chill. But yeah, what did you think about any of these scenes?
Yeah, I was kind of relieved, I guess, to see Toe Jam like being concerned because he was asking, if someone is gonna come and look for you, and I think he was contemplating, hey, maybe I should just like break this girl out.
Yeah.
So I was a bit relieved that nothing happened to Willa, and yeah, not really. I mean, this part is action packed, so I don't really have that much to say, but it's fun to watch. It was definitely fun. Yeah,
I liked the tension of leading up to what was going to happen, and all these points. Like the film sort of switches genres a lot, and this is the part where it sort of becomes a Western because it's like out in the desert, you know what I mean? I'm expecting any moment there to be a Mexican standoff, like everybody's got a gun pointed at each other, like who's going to shoot who, you know what I mean? Like one of those type of things. But yeah, it was cool. This part was really cool. It's action packed. I want to feel more for Deandra because she's been at the beginning. She's one of the few characters besides Bob who's been at the beginning and the end of the film. But at this one, I'm like, what's her name again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so fucked up because she's such an important person.
I mean, they made her like the righteous version of
Perfidia,
but she's righteous and boring. Like they made her boring also.
Yeah.
Because she just only does what she's told. She's a follower. She's not a leader, kind of thing. They made her be.
Yeah.
Just because they made her like also not sexy at all. They dressed her up like like a boy, and while Perfidia was wearing crop tops and showing that waist, while Regina Hall is also like a very good looking woman, right? But they dress her down.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We remember her in Best Man.
Yeah.
We remember. She made that.
Calm down.
She made that married man get a divorce. He said, "What?"
Yeah, but I think that was done in purpose.
Yeah.
Like the way they dress these characters.
Yeah. But boring is the best way to describe it because Sensei is sexy, cool, and exciting. You know what I mean? We saw his power, his influence, even though he's a minor character compared to Deandra in the overall plot of the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it was kind of unfair how they did her, right? And she's just sort of arrested, interrogated, punished, and thrown away in jail. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't think she snitched. She's like the only non-snitch in this entire story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically, Bob hotwires a car after jumping out of Sensei's car. And meanwhile, Lockjaw is driving back to the base after he, dropped off Willa. And this guy, one of the leaders of the Christian Adventurers Club, shows what type of adventure he about. He about stepping. He about spinning the block. He about pulling up on you and letting that fire go. Fire. So he reaches out the window because the Christian Association has said Lockjaw gotta go. Not only is his application denied, we have to put a bullet in him. Which, oh my God, I'm gonna say this. Lockjaw saw clearly who shot him.
Yeah.
Why would he then continue to apply to the Christian Association of Concerned Crackers?
Because he just wants it that bad.
That's dumb as hell. They literally tried to kill you. And
does he know?
He looked outside the window and saw, because the guy said, hey, roll the window down. It's me, Bob, from the Christian Crackers Association.
Wow.
hey, Bob, how's it? Get your shit
Okay,
right.
they did not have a whole conversation.
But he did go, hey, it's me, Bob. It's me.
Because he says, who is this? And then opens it and then gets shot right in that instant. So
Okay.
maybe he didn't see it.
If you say so, I think he saw and knew. Because how could you not recognize this shit-eating grin face?
Wow.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. This Lacoste stepper. This white-collar killer. My God. This bourgeoisie bullet boy. My God. That's so crazy, man.
I mean, this was a good scene.
This was a hella cool scene, but I did not expect it. And man, that man's grip is insane.
Yeah.
That's a straight up shotgun. He looked like a Terminator. He's like, gotcha, buddy. Oh my God, that was so sick. I love this scene. This is why he's my favorite character. This is my favorite character in the entire movie. Wow. I'm sorry, man. Any comments?
I was just frustrated at this point when Leo is chasing Lockjaw, because he thinks Willa is in that car, but she's not.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
She's in the other car.
Yeah.
So we have like him chasing this, dead guy, basically.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, after Toe Jam drops, Willa off at this, what looks like the Proud Boys hideout, he basically grows a spine, pops up at the crib, and like starts firing at all the racist white boys here, who basically have called him a redskin his entire life. He lays everybody out. Willa is able to escape. Meanwhile at the scene, Bob pulls up on the car where Lockjaw is and finds out he's dead, hanging upside down. He's like, oh no. But he checks the car and Willa is not there, so he's like, okay, then I'm fine. Whatever. Willa, like I said, escapes. She hops in the car. She's driving down the highway. And then we get this chase scene, right? Because Willa's driving in this white car right here, and behind her is the Lacoste shooter from the Christian Rifle Club. And basically, there's this very long, drawn-out scene where they're going over the hills, and, it's a lot of intensity. But basically, Willa breaks her car, forces the Caucasian stepper to crash into the back. She is on the side of the hill. He stumbles out the car. She's screaming out code language that he doesn't know. And when he doesn't know, he gets 20 shots to the dome. You know what I mean? And he gets laid out there. Bob shows up and he's like saying the code, but Willa is so turned up, she might even shoot her dad. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of intensity right there, but they end up embracing and hugging. And, they actually escape, they actually find their way. What did you think about any of those scenes? That's a lot of scenes, but.
Definitely a film with a better ending than the beginning. Mm-hmm. I would say that, it was cool, like, how Toe Jam, like, released her. And this is why Willa is my favorite character, because she's just smart. Like, she was smart. She was like, let me get this, like, key. Let me start the car. Let me go. And then she was doing a whole high chase with a killer Terminator Lacoste t-shirt wearing white supremacist. And she was smart enough, because as the audience, I didn't think of that. Did you?
Of course, I'm looking at the screen like, I would do this, I'd do that. But no, she did everything right. She is the one person, like, she's not dumb. Yeah,
like, she was doing the speed, and she was smart. She was like, let me stop the car and let him crash. And then I get a good view on this person, whoever they are, that is chasing me. Yeah. And, she killed the white supremacists, Yeah. She's the GOAT.
She was the GOAT. She is the GOAT. She surpassed her mama, for real.
Yeah. So, I like her character, and she just kind of always kept it, like, cool, even though she was freaking out at the end, understandably, right? I like just how she was able to think smartly and da-da-da. So, yeah.
No, she was hella good. Yeah. Shout out to not Perfidia. Shout out to Chase Infinity. We've gone this far. We didn't even mention her name.
Yeah.
Chase Infinity is her name. She's a new actress. I believe this is like her first feature film. I don't know if she'll win an award for this. Honestly, I think Lockjaw Sean Penn is going to win an award for this, because after the reunification of Bob and and Willa, we see Lockjaw is still alive, and this is one of the wildest scenes. Like, he's just so hardcore. Like, he's marching kind of weird, like in a goose step type of thing, with his skull all bloody, obviously shot through the side of the neck. But like, he is like still.
How is he alive?
About that life. I think that's a great villain type of, like, you know what I mean? Like a villain that can die but didn't die. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's still.
That was insane.
Yeah. So we find we fast forward, and Lockjaw still wants to join the Christian Cracker Rifle Lacoste Killer Association. He wants to join the Christmas Boys, and they're asking about, you know, have you ever slept with a black woman? And now he's being honest, and he says, "Sir, I was once raped in reverse. I was taken advantage of after being drugged, and I woke up with liquid and goo around my private areas." And one of the guys says, "So you met a semen demon?"
I mean, even the guys don't believe him, because the guy's like, why would oh my god, even the white supremacist guy sees the flaw in Perfidia's character.
Yeah.
He's like, why would she have sex with you?
Yes, exactly.
If she's on the opposite.
Mm.
And, yeah.
I like the fact that, you know, his face is distorted and mangled, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's still trying to join the club. Earlier I said, you know, why is he trying to join the Christmas Boys if they tried to shoot him? Well, that's how white supremacy works. It doesn't matter how bad they hurt you, how much MAGA takes away health care, Social Security. They still like, I want to join the club. I want to be white. I want to be white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And by the way, this character's hair always reminded me of Trump.
Yes.
Watching. I don't know if you had that too.
A little bit, yeah, because it is a bad comb over, and obviously he's balding.
And he is kind of obsessed with his hair. Like, there's always these scenes where he's like always trying to.
Or he licks his comb. He puts his comb dead in his mouth and puts it on the.
Gross.
Yeah, it's wild. I definitely think Sean Penn had the best character. Like, I would say, like, the most well-rounded, memorable character in this film.
Yeah.
I mean, Willow might be hella smart. Leo is doing crazy things, like with the dialogue in the phone. You know, Benicio del Toro is cool, calm, you know what I mean? But Sean Penn really showed out with this role, I would say.
Yeah, I think in one of the reviews, someone said that Sean Penn might get an award for this, and I agree.
I can see that.
He did a good job.
I think for our Oscars, he's in running for Best Villain. I don't think he's the best villain right now. I'd have to sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
Because we had Solange from The Front Room, who I think is a great villain, you know what I mean? And other ones we've watched as well that aren't coming to mind. But this is up there. I think he might get a nod, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, basically, the Christian Boys tell him, he joined the club, they show him to his office, they lock the door, and they gas his ass, right, with his feet up on the desk. And he was just about to cry and cream his pants when he got there into the club, but he dies instantly. And I like that, you know, he ends up being killed by essentially white supremacy, right? Like, in the hopes to join it, and he betrayed himself, almost killed his daughter. He's killed by this thing he wants to be a part of just for a corner office. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me, I think we talked about this, about his character, Lockjaw, like, was he actually someone that the Adventurers Club wanted, or was he like a pawn, you know? Because he didn't have money that much when compared with the other ones, right? But he had some kind of military power. He was a pawn that could move other pawns. And that could be something that could be used in the field, in the force.
Right, because they say to Lockjaw when they meet him, we've recruited other military guys into our secret organization, and their abilities and skills have been very useful for us, which is why I argue they're a type of revolutionary organization too. They're probably building up power, building up whatever they want to do to overthrow the government and have a coup or whatever. So that's what I think. But I think Lockjaw's run was very interesting. Maybe if this film has a sequel, or if somebody was going to do a sequel, I wouldn't have killed off Lockjaw because we want to see him reunite with Perfidia or something like that, or still
Reunite.
yeah, reunite. Like maybe he switches sides, like Terminator. In the first Terminator, he's the bad guy, and the second one, he's the good guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just saying, it would have been interesting, but
this just reminds me of one of the first things the other guy said to him. Said, "We don't recruit you because you're the smartest, you're the most handsome, you're the wealthiest. We recruit you because you're superior."
Yeah.
And look where that got you.
Yeah, look where that got you.
That just makes me think of that.
Yeah, they said we're superior men. That doesn't mean we're smarter or better. We're just superior because we say so. Yeah, that was really, and yeah, look where it got you. Dead in a corner office with nobody to care about you. So, but yeah, babe. At the end of the film, basically, Willa is living back with her father, still in the forest in the woods. I guess they're not arrested, even though they killed somebody. I guess no, whatever. Anyway, so they're now a part of the underground resistance, and there are still raids by MKU, which is this movie's versions of ICE, attacking the country, and she's like being a part of everything. And at the end of the day, Leo's character is just trying to figure out how to make his cell phone work while his daughter is out there trying to save the world. So that's how the film ends. What did you think? Final thoughts?
The very, very ending of the movie, I was a bit disappointed because, Willa is reading this letter from Perfidia, right? And it was nice and all, like it was sentimental, but it didn't, like it was still very surface level. Like there was no confession, there wasn't anything like a secret or something like that. It was just like, oh, like I wonder how you look. And that sort of like things, which is nice, but I was like, okay, I want to know more, and also it was just weird how they did the whole like iPhone thing. Like, is Leo signing up for Tinder? Like, what is happening? What is the point? What was the point of that? Like, I get now, like he's allowing her to have a phone. Maybe he's more relaxed. Is that the point? Like, I don't know.
I think maybe,
but why does that matter?
It's like maybe there's sort of like, okay, we're going to adjust to the world because like maybe he never took a picture in his whole life, or at least his adult life, because he's a part of the French 24. So no pictures, no evidence, no way to track. And yeah, he never had a cell phone. So he's trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And so
now he's taking pictures and putting them where?
I guess
he's still supposed to be a criminal. So.
Yeah, I mean, if the end of the movie is Bob just becoming your leftist Facebook dad, posting cringy memes about how Biden is really like Satan and Trump is even worse than Satan, like, you know what I mean, and talking about aliens and goo and shit like that, that's really whack. But yeah, it's one battle after another, buddy. One battle. Final score for me. Listen. It's a fun film, and after talking about it with my wife in depth, there is a good film here. It's just after the Perfidia part. I feel like this movie would not have so much hate from black people or leftists in general if the Perfidia section was simply cut. You could have the same movie where Perfidia is not seen, and we still get the same sort of dynamics.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the first part of the movie, Perfidia's character just casts a bad shadow on the movie. And even though after a while, maybe you forget about the character a little bit and how badly it was portrayed, and you're able to enjoy the movie, still, like, it's bothersome.
Yeah.
So, I feel the same.
Yeah, just literally, I think there should be another snip of this film where maybe other scenes are added to the second half, and that whole Perfidia section is cut, and you have still a really well shot movie that's entertaining and fun, but that makes more sense because there's pretty much no way to clean up the Perfidia parts at all. Like, you could try to remix it, chop it up, but the way the character is actually done makes it almost damn near impossible. You know what I mean? To make her likable, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Yeah. Overall, my score, I give it 6. Solid 6. It's a 6 film. You know what I mean? I wouldn't die to watch it again. It is fun, but it's just all right for me.
Yeah. Actually, last night I gave it a higher score.
Mm.
But I think now I'm gonna give it a 5 after discussing it and also rewatching it to make the slides.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a fun visual movie. There are fun characters in it. Not that much depth. Problematic portrayal of black women, and yeah, I feel like some parts, just some things like the ICE raids in the Hispanic community and the Latino community, it just feels a bit show off ish without actually saying anything about the situation. And then just having the characters there.
Like exploiting their pain.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can't really give that much credit to that.
Yeah.
I I would watch another movie by Paul Thomas Anderson, since this is like the first movie that I'm watching it fully. Because I like his directorial style. I just don't like his writing that much.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a very particular type of very confusing worldview. I entered the mind of a rich white man who also is a liberal, and this is like what I would imagine it's like. Yeah. Like, Paul, do you like black girls? No, do you really like black girls? Because if you really liked black girls, I don't think you would do black girls like this. But he's like, no, man, I love black women, bro. I even made a movie about him starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Last Black Woman. Wow. Anyway, man.
Yeah, 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Fair. Well, I really enjoyed this review. Did you?
I did.
I had a good time chopping it up with you. I hope I got everything out, because I know this has been a long requested review and many people are talking about it. And we have a particular style of going about this. But I don't want to leave anything inside that I say, damn, I wish I said that, or I wish I thought this right here. We need one more good Tarantino film. Somebody send him one of these type scripts so that he could get it ready. And I honestly think like blaxploitation is prime for a comeback. And Tiana Taylor actually could fit the role of like a modern day Pam Grier. Yeah. You know, sexy, fucking hardcore. You know, she looks like she could kick your ass, but also kiss you deeply. As a wild description, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I think like I said, I think her acting is solid. I think like physically she's there, right? She's gorgeous, and she does have that aura, like you said, tough but sexy and gentle. Yeah. You know, so she can definitely pull it off.
She could definitely do that. Tiana Taylor is the unsung hero of this film. She was just given a bad role. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But c'est la vie. Well, this has been 138 Simon and Acting movie reviews, one battle after another. If you got a film you want us to check out, put it in the comment section. We'll try to get to it. Y'all be easy out there, and peace.